Well, I just want to say thank you for your knowledge. We would like to grant this diploma for your valuable participation as a speaker in these technical conferences, online legal services before COVID-19, legal proceedings, and digital justice administration. A big hug. Okay, Mr. Armando Melgoza Rivera, valuable participation as a speaker in the Technical Conference Cycles 2020. Armando. No. So you're someone who we can talk with you. I want to thank you. So we were able to clarify doubts when it comes to China. So I would like to grant you this diploma, Mr. Armando Melgoza Rivera, for your valuable participation as a speaker in the Technical Conferences Cycle, Online Legal Services Before Pandemic COVID-19, Legal Proceedings, and Digital Justice Administration. Hopefully we will see each other. Congratulations. So a big round of applause for you all, because we are complying with the agenda, and this wouldn't have been possible without you. As you said, you have to think what would be the next panel of next year. What can I tell you? Thank you very much. A commitment. There's a commitment. Yes, hopefully we can see you soon in person, but please lift your spirit and all your energies with us, and to make this new normal something different, where this firm will increase and to make the difference. It is very easy to subtract, but it's very difficult to add. So let's go to our next subject. Now we're going to give the microphone to Mrs. Orfa, so she will give us an overview of the subject that we will be listening to. Now this is our last topic of the last before day. The partners, in order for them to participate and know the legal provisions in services, electronic services before judicial authorities in Mexico, because of the pandemic COVID-19. So we have two excellent speakers that Judith will kindly read their resumes. No, no se oye. Okay. Thank you. Yes, the subject is electronic court before judicial authorities at courts. So we're going to hear Mr. Ricardo Moreno Garcia. He has a BA in laws for the UNAM. He has a certificate court of fiscal crimes in the Escuela Libre de Derecho. He has a specialty in oral trials, a master's degree in processal criminal law, a PhD in laws, and he was appointed Chevalier Commander in Juridic and Criminologic Science, and he also gave courses on the National Institute of Criminal Justice, blockchain, white-collar crimes, among others. He was a secretary and agent of the District Prosecution Office. He performed as sub-director of Laboral Relationships in the National Institute of Anthropology and History, and currently he is an under-director in Finance Auditores. Welcome. Thank you very much, Judith. Good evening, all. So we're going to start with this presentation. Can I share my screen? Okay, you are a host. I don't know if you can see my screen. Today we will see the electronic means to have access to justice in Mexico by virtue of the pandemic by COVID-19 in 2020. Justice, as we all know, is one of the essential public services in all society developed like ours, where the judicialization and the increase of the litigations are constant. That's why citizenship demands to be faster, more efficient, and effective in the resolution of trials, and as a requirement of the efficacy of the judicial system. That is why it's very important that the effort made by the judges and magistrates, judicial secretaries, and other jurisdictional organs in the fast resolution of trials will be accompanied by a modernization of the means, tools, and informatic equipment, so to make the most of the endless advantages of ITC. Likewise, we need to take advantage of its justice upgrading stage to expedite the proceedings of the process by using ITC. Especially, this helps to help the citizen that collaborates or uses the justice will avoid displacings or without the need of appearing in person in the courtroom. I just want to say that if this reform is not exempt of difficulties. One is that the fact that the justice that is a public service of jurisdictional organs among each other beyond their geographical location, as well as the jurisdictional organs with the people and institutions that work with justice, especially in Mexico with the attorney district office, attorneys, notary registers, the state attorney, investigation police, and security, public security police force. All the informatic and technical systems that can be established for the delivery and reception of communication for the functioning of the entry and exit registers of the different jurisdictional organs required to be compatible with the players that intervene in justice. That is why it's necessary a total cooperation and coordination between the judicial branch, the different prosecution office, experts, institutions in the government, and professionals imply directly or indirectly in justice by unifying the decisions, agreement, and covenants that they deem relevant to guarantee compatibility, functionality, and interoperability of systems and informatic programs in Mexico. What are the electronic means to have access to justice and the judicial power of the Federation? This is in Mexico, of course. I want to say that as of the 16th of June 2020, Digital Searching opened its door to the online trials in the courtrooms of the district and the court of circuit of the federal judicial branch. According to the general agreement of the Federal Judiciary Council 13/2020, as of this date, the suspension of terms and processal terms were raised for all organs, included the ones that are not in guard for the reception proceedings, study, and resolution of the matters before the sanitary contingency, if they are authorized to work with the web portal to have access to file and notification by electronic means. Something that is very important to mention is that the authorities that are responsible in the trial of amparo, according to Articles 28 and 30 of the law, they are notified, printed or electronically. The Judiciary Council created tools that facilitate this proceeding in online trials and not to delay the resolution. And through the formation of a concentrate of emails where the authorities may be notified which consultation is feasible by the internal network of the Federal Judiciary Council, respecting the autonomy of the judges. So let's see how this video shows us how in the practice we can have access to the portal of online service of the Federal Judiciary Council to perform this service. How to register and have access to online service portal. So in order to have access from any computer with an internet connection in this web address. In order to register, a user should select enter the portal of district judge and circuit courts in the menu, and also click on register user. This is the form for the registration. Once it is completed, you will see if you have the signature field and link it with the account of the user. Then you need to click register user. You will receive an email and there will be a link to confirm and to conclude the registration process. Federal Judiciary Council, the power of justice. So we see how a user is registered and to have access to the portal. Now, according to what Article 3 of the Law of Amparo since 2013 establishes the option to promote the trial of amparo printed or digitally. If the digital is selected, the writings will be submitted by using ITC, using the electronic signature that is called FIDEL, that should be validated by the unit of the Federal Judicial Branch to certify the signature, along to the regulation issued by the Supreme Court and the general agreements. Consequently, to promote the promotion of the online trial, the representative should request the signatures, FIDEL, that are used at the federal level. This firm is authorized by the SAT, the last one, and this has been accepted because of the pandemic that we're going through. Eventually, another electronic signature may be accepted if the digital certificate is validated by the Council according to the agreement, General Agreement 1220. We have three signatures: the FIDEL, the FIEL, and they can be homologated. This certificate of signature is the one that we use to have access to the federal judicial branch, and it have the same effects as a normal signature. So we can promote resources, notifications, lawsuits, consultation of sentences, agreements, among others. If the offender cannot present it and another person does it in its behalf because there are criminal activities like the deprivation of freedom and communication of expulsion, etc., subscription, extradition, or forced disappearance, or the ones that are prohibited by Article 22 of the Constitution, where it shall not be demanded the electronic signature. This is an exception of the rule in criminal matters. So we will see a brief video on how we can submit a lawsuit in the portal of online services of the Federal Judiciary Council. How to send a lawsuit. To submit a digital lawsuit, you can the option in the menu, submit your lawsuit. As of the 16th of June, you can submit any writings in any matter. The system will request to do 4 steps. Step 1, information of the person who is promoting, email and details, and optionally a phone number. Once the form is completed, click Next. Location of office, select the state to indicate where the lawsuit will be sent, selecting the city, and you can locate the Office of Common Correspondence. Next, step 3, enter your document. There's 2 ways of doing it. Option 1, you will find a text frame with a template in which you can edit the data to draft the writing. Option 2, attach one or several e-files. Once the file is selected, click Next. Step 4, summary of the lawsuit. Once you have completed the previous steps, the screen will be shown for its delivery. You can electronically sign the writing by FIDEL or electronic signature. You should enter the files. To complete and to finalize, you need to capture the verification code and click Submit. The system will show a confirmation message and the receipt of acknowledgement of the lawsuit that can be downloaded in a PDF format. Federal Judiciary Council, the power of justice. So we saw how can we can enter a lawsuit. In order to enter the lawsuit, we need the signature, electronic signature, which is the fidel. Let's see what the fidel is. What is the fidel? It is a digital certificate that will allow you to have access to the portal of the Federation Judiciary Power and the online trial. You can sign electronically writings and to receive online notifications. Excellent. So I think the fidel was clearly shown. So we will see the justice in the judicial branch in Mexico and see what are the virtual services offered by the judicial branch of Mexico City in this video. Do you know the virtual services that Judicial Power of Mexico City has available for you? When we are concerned of your health, the Judicial Power of Mexico urges you to use your proceedings online. Okay, the official parties' official online divorce by mutual agreement, economic dependence, concubinage, trial, electronic appointments, mediation online, testament and information, register of lawyers, access to SICOR on with no cost. Just enter the following web page. Optimize your time, reduce your expenses, and take care of you. Those are the virtual services that Mexico City Judicial Branch offers, and this is according to the agreement 1624/2020 issued by the plenary session of the Mexico City Judiciary Council, determined to approve the guidelines for the implementation of the online procedures and the celebration of hearings remotely in the in civil and household matters. These judicial procedures are an option, and they are equal to the judicial procedures in all the stages according to the corresponding codes. These guidelines, in order to have access to this online procedure, the parties of legal representative should have electronic signature, fidel or e-signature, to subscribe their electronic promotions or the email to receive notifications, and to be able to enter the hearing with audio and video. This initial writing for the authorized trials online should be submitted to the virtual office of the main office. Once the writing is received, the office will issue the acknowledgement of receipt and will generate the file number that will be forwarded to the correspondent jurisdictional organ. The guidelines establish the rules for hearings, remote hearings that could be performed by request of the magistrate judge, provided it guarantees the compliance with the processal formalities without affecting the defense of the parties. Likewise, the assumptions in which the remote hearings may be suspended or be delayed. Those guidelines concerning the online procedures were only for oral trials, and the audiences that entered in force as of the 13th of July 2020, the provisions for remote audience are effective as of the 3rd of August 2020.
And we also need to consider what happened in Mexico City, how these provisions were implemented. Let's see this video. Internet appointments. Warranty date and time in an efficient and ordered manner. Avoid lines and contact with other people without agglomerations. This is .com judicialpower.mx. Fill out the information and you can see all the matters to enter. And a QR code in this register code. Put the QR and scan your QR code to confirm your attendance and be called to your appointment. Justice is here placed .com.mx and underline. So we saw how this works in Mexico City. By means of these oral trials, we can deal with divorces and also other kind of cases. We can see that we also have the reception of this here. We can have different kind of paperwork to be included. In addition to these services, there is mediation, online facilitation of different lines, and we are going to see this next. Mediation and facilitation. Resolve your conflicts. Agreement for divorce, mercantile, civil, law, professional services, criminal, violence, damage to property, justice for teenagers, among many other matters. Those are the services in the judicial power of Mexico City. Now we will see what's online facilitation. Two or more people are involved in a controversy, which are the participants. They look for agreements by the assistance of a third party, which is the facilitator, according to the case, that will facilitate here. This service is for all citizens in Mexico City to resolve these controversies. We have mediation, online facilitation, and an agreement will be placed. This is equivalent to a definitive sentence. Then the E-firm, that's for fiscal services, remote services, and it has the same legal effect of a physical signature. You can do different kind of things, online trials and different paperwork. In the website, you have the requirements. You can obtain this file. You can download it. The benefit is that you can do any paperwork from your mobile without the need of an USB. This is all in my part. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are also going to give the floor to Magaña. My apologies, I will not be able to read his bio. He's a lawyer, graduated from UNAM with wide experience in tax, fiscal, criminal law. He has wide experience as a teacher and professor. If you are interested about the professional experience, you can request for his information. Now he will talk about electronic court. Mr. Ricardo Moreno, thank you very much. My apologies because we have limited time, but we know that you can be contacted. So we're going to listen to your presentation. Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you, Mauricio, for the opportunity to share this vision about online services provided by courts in Mexico. Getting back to Ricardo Moreno presentation. So online justice in this country is not something new. This was the result of some modifications in 1999, and this resulted in a new official Mexican standard regulating the technique and the means on how certificates and how they were going to be authenticated, the identity of a person and authentication of instruments. And we had several series. The EFEA, the e-signature, but this was in stages. And then we started to have online services. The first court was the administrative justice court. And then in 2013, with the Amparo law, you can do it through this mechanism. And of course, you can do it with this electronic signature. And also, the National Code of Criminal Procedures has recognized that some of the acts in the accusatory system can be done online. And this answer has been given for several courts. As in the case that I'm going to present, it is clear that as a result of this sanitary emergency caused by COVID-19, there was a high effervescence of these services, and courts didn't have this desired, and then they operated online, and they waited until August to operate. Months went by, and they did have this tool. They had the tool before the pandemic. This tool was already working. However, the first answer was the Federation power through an agreement giving the option, if you have electronic signature or Fidel linked, I can continue with this procedure. Some lawyers did it. However, services were stopped as a result of the pandemic. And I was saying that we also have an online trial modality, and they also have the reception of documents online to avoid physical contact and contagion. The modality of online trials, in this court, we can see fiscal controversies by federal agencies or coordinated agencies. And also, there was a modification in the law published in the official Gazette June the 12th, 2019. All lawyers were wondering how this is going to be managed. What's the documentation? How this is going to work? And yes, there was a lot of resistance. By means of an international tender procedure, they contracted services to a third party, to Deloitte, Mexico, and they started to provide this service. Manuel Aguibes Pelayo, the magistrate, had this procedure. So, Deloitte, Mexico, was not anymore the provider of services for the Federation, the Attorney General Office, and federal agencies due to a breach in the contract. And this also permeated in the shares of Deloitte. See the news, November the 30th, 2016. This is news. So it was plus minus 2% because Galas was going to give this service in this percentage. On November the 30th, as reported, less than 2% all the cases that were carried out at this court on this modality were suspended. These two online courtrooms had very little cases, so the milestone in the pandemic is that it became more attractive online services because you don't have transportation, no cost of copies, not promotion. Everything is done through the online platform. You need to log in as user of the service. You need to have your electronic signature. Once you have it, most taxpayers have electronic signature. So by means of your user, you can represent any taxpayer. And with this e-signature, you can subscribe any procedures. You do not need any photocopy. The challenging system in the federal fiscal law needs the accreditation of all elements before the authority. In 2016, there was a cancellation of a criterion, open litis, for federal administrative contentious cases. This was a project of different habeas corpus or amparo laws with the minister Pérez Dayan, and this gave us the basis to consider that this law regulates open litis, and in this case you present evidence. So all evidence should be at an administrative site. That's why when you go to the trial, you do not have the cost of photocopies. That was really costly for each one of the authorities. Suspension notebooks. Right now we just put our complaint and the rest of evidence is at the courtroom. As I said before, with the pandemic, the use of e-services increased. There's a publication of different procedures. 1 week and a half ago, we had an edition. Regional court rooms can also operate, and this will make that online services are going to increase. As you can see, this is the interface, access, code, password. Once you access, you have control of all the trials, and you can see each one of the files and you can manage them. You can verify all agreements by each one of the parties. You can export this to the ERP of my firm, or you can print it if you want it. Validity of documents according to the Mexican official standard are digital files. There's a section in the law when any of the parties challenges the validity or accuracy of any document. That's a very particular procedure, but the rest operates on goodwill principle and agreement between the parties. So there is no need for controversy unless it is necessary. You can see if you have any outstanding notice, and the administrative trial has a bulletin. You have a notice that you're going to receive a notice that is effective 3 days after that. So you have 6 days in total. So it's 3 days and then is 3 days after publication. They apply to all trials. This is regarding the administrative law. There was also a local response in the judicial case of the state of Mexico. I live in Metepec, which is a state of Mexico. I have a lot of contact with the state of Mexico courtrooms in civil and criminal tax cases. We generated a new official document under the lead of the previous president, published in April 14, 2018. They have a new certificate, a new file with this certifying entity. As it was mentioned, we can have some virtual hearings using WebEx platform. The interface is not so sophisticated. As you can see, there are a series of reports, and under this topic we can see each one of the suits. We can see files, promotions, so it operates on the same principle. Conclusions. Jurisdictional service is more efficient. There have been some failures. We have more traffic of users, but costs have been reduced. It is chaotic to promote before some authorities because they have very strict working hours due to the pandemic. And you do not have this restriction online. The service is non-personal. In the past, you had an appointment, obviously. You are increasing your arguments. This is good because you have at hand a very agile tool. So this is it. This was only an introduction. I thank you for your time. Dear Judith and Ricardo, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. In spite of the short time, your presentation has been very clear. Cesar Cetina, please hand out the participation diploma, and then we'll give the floor to Diana Hernandez from Colombia. Please go ahead, Cesar Cetina. Thank you very much to both of you. Can you display the diploma, please? I would like to thank Rubén Magaña for his valuable participation in this yearly meeting with his presentation. Thank you very much, Rubén. Thank you very much, Cesar. Please go ahead. Thank you to Ricardo Moreno for his participation with electronic court before judicial authorities. Thank you very much, Ricardo Moreno, for your participation. Thank you very much. Good night.